Why do you put your heart and soul into a club like this?
We can open up people's minds and eyes to this wonderful thing that's out there. Well, I'm doing a presentation on the 29th, which happens to be
of January 2025.
Here on the 176 Lakeshore. And if it's a clear night, we're hoping to set up a few scopes as well. And I'm doing a presentation on the winter constellations and also the parade of planets.
It sounds to me like the club is pretty healthy, but you're always inviting new members?
Always inviting new members. People can come out. You don't have to be a member to come out to our meetings at all, but membership does have its perks for sure. You can borrow our equipment and borrow our time. And we'll go to anybody's event. Private events as well. So if there's a family event or like family reunion and you think you'd like to have a club out there or something like that, we can be there. Lickety split. We go out there for the scouts. We go out for schools. But our big thing is outreach. We love outreach. Like I said, we did over 24 of them this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Richard Fortin Presents. I am so excited today to welcome our guest, Michel St-Onge in English, who is here representing the Astronomy Club of North Bay, or the North Bay Astronomy Club. Welcome, Michel.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation, Rich.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So Astronomy Club, you guys have a new mission statement, I hear. That's the word on the street.
Well, it's kind of like a revamped mission statement. We just wanted to make it a little bit more condensed and really, really show exactly what we're about. Because a lot of people just don't know. They don't know we've been in existence, first of all, for over 30 years. We've been in existence, that's right. And since that time, we've hosted about at least 18 presentations or events per year.
Wow.
But we had a really exceptional year this year. This past year alone, the first year of my presidency, we provided or attended over 24 events for the public, and the public engaged with us, and it was awesome. And so the mission statement basically is the North Bay Astronomy Club is here to inspire curiosity and foster a degree of understanding of the universe through the exploration of astronomy. And we aim to provide a welcoming community for stargazers and at all experience levels. So you don't have to have any experience if you know nothing at all.
Astro means stars?
Stars.
What does astro mean? It means stars?
Exactly.
So that's the astronomy.
Exactly, the study of stars.
The study of
Onomy
stars.
means study, right?
Right.
So
not the woo-woo stuff.
Not the woo-woo stuff.
The science stuff.
That's right.
Right.
So by sharing all of our knowledge and hosting events, which we offer hands-on experiences, and we seek to ignite the passion for space and connect people to the wonders of the modern world and the cosmos.
The mission.
We're
off on a mission.
Well, sort of like Star Trek, but even better because we're real.
So much realness. So you've been president now for a year, but this club has been in existence for 30 years.
Yes.
And it's all over the community doing all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
But do you guys meet once a month?
Yes, we always meet the third Wednesday of each month. And we meet at 176 Lakeshore Drive, right here in this very building. Yeah. Thank you very much. And we offer presentations, and we have space news that we do. We have a quiz at the end of it all. We have a social little gathering as well, where we have some coffee and tea and get to share stories. We invite guest speakers as well for this type of thing, and just have a really, really good time. It's just a sharing of knowledge. We also get to share material as well. So people would bring in their telescopes or bring in a piece of equipment that they're not familiar how to use, and we show them how to use these things during the meeting. But we also do that at any of our events that we put on. People often bring out their equipment and they say, I don't know how to put this thing together, and we help them put it together to show them how to use it. And we also loan equipment out, and we've established a new policy on our loaning equipment, which needed to be revamped because of the new technology. There's so much that's changed.
Sure.
And just in astrophotography itself. There's many of these little cameras that you have. And we've actually purchased one that we can have on loan for people. And we will, anytime anybody wants to borrow it, they have to be a member of the club. Mm-hmm. But in order to do that, we come out and we show them how to operate it. So it's one of the things that we do. And that's all done as well through, I guess if people go on our website,
Yes,
probably
that's
the
where
best
we find.
thing.
That's where I was going to say.
Is
so
that right?
People
Yeah, how do
are curious and want to join or want to come to a
Yes.
meeting. Where do we find you?
Well, if first of all, we do have a Facebook page, and it's the North Bay Astronomy Club. So it is just like that on Facebook, and you can find us there, and you can find all our current events and things like that, and anything that we kind of posting immediately, because Facebook is just like scroll. So you got to be there. You got to renew it every 2 seconds, or you're not going to be at the top of the page. So the other thing we do have on there as well, as we mentioned, is our website, which is a permanent website, and it's www.gatewaytotheuniverse.org.
Gatewaytotheuniverse.org.
.org, yes. And if they go on that website, then they get all the information as well as the current events that we are hosting. We host several star parties a year. Star parties are a chance for people to get together. They can come over and camp and spend a weekend with all of the group.
Yep.
And we share knowledge. And like I said before, they can bring their equipment. They can use some of our equipment, learn how to use things. We have big campfires. We have potlucks. We have a big social gathering. Children are involved, whole entire families. There's no dogs, dog friendly. Certainly when it's at my place, it is.
Yeah.
And that one's always in July.
Yeah.
That's called the Gateway to the Universe Star Party. And that's a big one. I think that's probably our biggest event. And now that I have my little observatory out there as well, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because people can
That's
go
out in the country, so it's darker.
Yes,
when
and
we're
that's
looking
one of the things that we're really, really hoping to address and speak to more is, more starry nights, less city lights, I guess, is the saying. And I'm really hoping to bring in somebody from the Royal Astronomy Association. And I know that there are some guest speakers that will come and talk about exactly that, about the effects of light pollution. Not just on the fact of viewing stars and that, but it also affects things like bird migration, reptiles, on also our mental health. It's just little things that people can do by like putting lampshades over top of their lights so that they're not glaring up there, and then getting cities to do something like that. So we're also very proactive in that we bring in speakers that address concerns about astronomy, about, the fact that there's so many satellites as well now up there that affect astronomy.
Yeah.
Astrophotography, certainly, because you get a lot of star trails and satellite trails that affect it. But
Really interesting.
Yeah.
So there's also big telescopes up there that are shooting back images that are just incredible. And I'm sure you're following the progress. What is it called?
Well, with
the big one that's out there
the
right now.
newest one is the James Webb.
The James Webb telescope.
It's huge, and it is big. And
it's revealing things that are just mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling because when you look at the Hubble, which was the one to precede it, it's still up there. The Hubble's still working quite well. But the difference in the quality and how far James Webb could see and how clear things are, and a lot of people will probably go on the internet and can see the difference between, let's say, if you're looking at the Orion Nebula and you're gearing into where the Horsehead Nebula is in as part of it, you can see the difference right away, or the pillars of creation. And when you see those two pictures side by side, you realize the technology has come so far.
Right.
And we like to stay with that. So that's part of what we do as well, is we try to keep in the know, and by doing these meetings and going out and doing these presentations, we also learn.
Yes.
That's the other thing that I want people to realize, that we're not out there just saying we know everything.
No.
We can answer
You're curious.
No,
this is the word curious in your mission statement.
We want to learn from people, and people teach us all kinds of things.
We've always been looking at the stars forever and ever and making stories up and having all sorts of symbols associated to those stories. And I mean, this is timeless stuff for human beings, isn't it?
It's timeless. I mean, we've always looked up and wondered, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it started for me when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's what
laying out in the field, and when I was a kid, a teenager, out on Lake Nosbonsing at the cottage, and we would be staring out there at night. My brother would take us out, and then that's how I learned all about the constellations and the different stars, and also that I knew that's when I learned that stars twinkle but planets don't. Interesting, yeah, and stars also are noisy. Everything makes noise. Yeah. Everything makes noise in the universe. Exactly.
Because vibration is sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And we're starting to hear a lot more too, because now we have these arrays of radar that pick up all kinds of sounds far into space. And of course, now that we're sending things out there, we're able to get all that information even better, because we're not stuck on, under the envelope of our atmosphere, which traps a lot of stuff, right?
Right.
So we're right out there now. So
the more we look at this stuff, is it possible, you mentioned mental health earlier, is it possible that just by taking time to look and seeing this kind of like miraculous galaxy we're in, and the fact that we're so minuscule relative to these incredible scales of the universe, that it can kind of humble us and make us
think so.
that we are just so small in the big picture. Does that happen to you?
Well, yeah, but
or to people when you
my favorite actor. Well, my favorite actor. I've got a soft spot for him. But William Shatner, as you well know, who played Captain Kirk in Star Trek. Okay, he went up with the Bezos's Blue Origin.
Yeah.
And when he came back, there was a video of him, and he was just standing there outside, where all the rest of them were popping champagne and drinking there, and their whole group of them out there, and they're celebrating. He was just there, and he was just like towards the camera. He just went. He was flabbergasted, because he realized that where we are on Earth, there's life, but beyond that, there's no life.
It's such a
weird thing. So that when you're looking back down on the Earth, you realize this is it for us. Okay,
and we're together.
And it's like a big spaceship. All right, so we have to be getting along.
We're spinning on a rock.
I
remind myself every day
wobbling.
When I look at the stars.
It's actually wobbling around the universe as well too, and it's wobbling, but it's very precarious, because it can. In a moment, we could be gone. Mm-hmm. So it's very, as you say, humbling.
It's humbling.
But it also is good for your mental health, because if you just lay out there and you just take it all in, you can't help but feel that presence that you're part of something bigger. And that's what it's about. And that's why people want to go out there and see it. But I'm content I don't think I need to be out there. I like to be on Earth looking up.
No.
Yeah.
Did you watch the documentary about Elon Musk that tells the story of SpaceX?
Yeah, I watched a little part of it. Didn't watch the whole thing.
What do you think about all that? Like, I mean, you're interested in all these topics. I know we're getting into, and I mean, by all means, feel free to say, Richard, I don't want to share this. But I'm curious to know what you think as somebody, like you mentioned, I don't know if the cameras were rolling, we were talking about all the stuff we're putting up there these days.
We're putting up an awful lot.
We're putting up a lot.
It scares me, because, I mean, I'm also a big fan of the Terminator movies, and it just scares the heck out of me that their Skynet is already up there. Is going to...
Right, yeah.
But... as much as technology is scary, and I just think that they're moving really quickly on it, and I really, really hope that they're doing it thinking about the moral impact and stuff on people.
It's becoming harder to see that, though, as we see the political discourse in the news, because it becomes so nasty. And I'm Canadian. I recognize I'm a little sensitive right now, because these guys are like full on attacking our best friends.
I just worry about Elon Musk's treating the Earth as something that's disposable. We can just leave it and go on to Mars, and we'll terraform Mars and that. Well, if you can terraform another planet, why don't you just terraform the Earth back to where it belongs, the way it should be? I don't mind. I like the fact about using technology and all the stuff that we're learning about being in space and working in space, and all of the stuff that we learned about the science of it. But I'm really hoping that it all comes back to help us here.
Sure.
I thought that that's the way it should. That's what it should be doing. It should have a purpose other than leaving this behind and saying goodbye and moving on.
Gotcha.
That's what I would hope for. So I'm not ready to desert the spaceship yet.
No.
That we live
I hope
on.
not. Because we don't really have an alternative.
Well, not right now, we don't. But you never know. Things move ahead quite quickly, right? So,
and our world is changing quite fast. There's LA fires burning right now. There's all sorts of craziness if you turn on that TV and take time to watch it.
It's moving faster than what people have thought that it should, and that's what's right for sure. Everything has a cycle, and we all know that things in the universe move in cycles and that. But definitely, I think humans have put a spin on it and put it into overdrive. And that's what we're responsible for. So
Right.
I think we have to really start thinking about our responsibility in that thing.
So is being part of this club for you like a way to why do you put your heart and soul into a club like this? Because to be president, to step up, to be on the board, to show up for meetings, to talk about it, I met you at we were at one kid's place maybe half a year ago, and we got talking. You had one of the big telescopes out there. You're dragging this stuff out there. You're showing people. It blew my mind. I loved it. And it changed. A whole bunch of things happened after that from our conversation that I was so grateful for. That's why I think more people learn about this stuff, the more, it's just good. It's a good thing to learn about.
I think so.
Why do you do it?
Why, for exactly what you just said, Rich. Exactly what you just said. For that feedback that we get, that we can open up people's minds and eyes to this wonderful thing that's out there. All of this that's available to us, and to start and also play around with all the new technology and even the old technology. Because I'll tell you right now, the first thing I do is when I see I go out, and if the sky is clear like it was 2 nights ago, I'll go out there. First thing I do, even if I'm in my socks, I'll walk out there and grab my binoculars, because that's what I do. You look with your eyes first, and what do you see? You see Venus is really, really bright right now. Jupiter is straight overhead, right beside the moon. And then you can see Mars out there. So you can see these planets that are already in the arc that are forming, that people are talking about.
Yeah, so right now in my feed, for some reason, I'm seeing that the planets are lined up, and you're telling me this happens every year.
Planets are always in line, because if you look at it, if you think about it, like I had this diagram here.
Yeah.
The solar plane, if you want to call it, the ecliptic, it's like a record.
Yes.
And the sun's in the middle, and everything's flat. It goes. The Earth isn't flat, but
it's
this
not?
is flat. No.
I have friends who swear by
my God,
it.
I know.
And what do you tell them? The
Sure.
flat earthers, you just say yes because you can't argue.
Well, why argue? Everybody's allowed to have their own opinion on it, but there's there's much evidence out there, considering we've been out there and we look down at the planet and it's round, and everything else is round. And it's like, ooh, so all the other planets are round, but we're flat? It's kind of like,
Okay.
Anyway, so it's an ecliptic, right?
Yeah.
So everything works on this plane around the sun, right?
Yeah.
So things are always moving in that way. An alignment is more like if you would put the sun, and then all the planets would be in line with the sun at some point. And that could happen. Mm-hmm. Doesn't happen very often. I don't even remember when the last one was. I think I have it written down here somewhere. But this is basically what we would call a parade of planets.
Yeah.
So because it's kind of cool in the wintertime, January to February, especially this time period, and people are targeting certain days. I think they mentioned the 21st and the 25th of January. And they're right. There will be planets. What's going to happen is it's an event like that when you have 6 or more in the sky at once that you can see. You can see 4 with your naked eye right now. Okay, so you can see them right here. Mm-hmm. If you see them, you're going to see Mars. You're going to see Jupiter. You're going to see Venus. And you can see Saturn with your naked eye, okay? Mars will be the reddish one. Jupiter will be straight overhead, bright. And then you won't be able to see Uranus with your naked eye, but you'll be able to see Venus, and you'll be able to see Saturn. So you'll be able to see those 4.
Yeah.
The others are all there. But at that time, and I think it's going to be probably February 3rd, I think it is. February 3rd, the planets will appear as that. Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, you'll see the moon, which will be kind of like a crescent moon by then, Venus, Neptune, and Saturn. But like I said, you only 4 of them that you can see with your naked eye. So with binoculars, you can see more. So that's why I like grabbing binoculars, because you can see a heck of a lot more. You can see the Pleiades as well. And they look, a lot of people think that's the little dipper when they look, but it's not. It's in the southwest sky, and you'll see it right overhead. And it's near Orion, which is the one with the 3 stars that everybody sure knows, Orion. So right above that, to a little bit to the right, you're going to see the Pleiades, and they're called the 7 sisters. So there's some things that are interesting in the sky. Like there's a comet right now too. I think there's a comet, and I think forget its name there. It's Atlas.
Okay.
That's in there. So yeah, like people call it planetary alignment, but it's basically when all the planets are when you get 6 or more planets in the sky at the same time. Like you can actually see from east to west, basically, in an arc.
Yeah.
So it's going to appear in an arc because it follows the ecliptic, right? And often planetary alignments are assigned a date, like I said. But in this case, it's going to be any time between now
It's period.
and the beginning of March.
Yeah.
So straight through February.
Yep.
You're going to be able to see. But there's certain key days. But again, you won't be able to see anything if there's clouds. And that's all we've had lately.
Yeah, interesting.
So astronomers are always at the
Mercy of the clouds.
mercy of the clouds.
Yes. How about the northern lights? I know that's totally different. Or is it totally different? Is
Well, no,
when are
because the
northern
northern
lights
lights-
really prevalent?
The northern lights, and you can go on the internet and it'll tell you when it's going to be at its peak. Okay, the internet's got all kinds of information now. And
It's
some of
true.
it you got to watch. Some things they try to like same thing with this alignment of the planets. They're saying that all 8 planets will be out. Well, no, not all 8. Okay, you're going to have 6, which is still really great. Okay, so you have to really watch out. But the northern lights are caused by the sun.
Yeah,
right?
but
The
is there a
sun-
period of the year, like if I'm from somewhere else, and because I have people, my friends in Costa Rica, who are like, if I wanted to come to Canada and see the northern lights, when would I come?
Well, we got to see them all through the
You
year.
can see them all through.
Well, yeah, because we had in May of
Yes.
last year when we were at our Frozen Banana, which is our first star party, and it was held in Bonfield at the drag race strip. And people graciously lent us that place, and we were camped there for the weekend. We were hoping to see some stars and stuff. Well, what a show! We got the best Northern Lights display where it was swirling above our heads. It was crazy. So that was May. And then right straight through, I think you remember was it July, that we had that huge
wave.
other stuff. So it's not just at night, not just the winter. Some people think that it only
That's what I
happens in the winter.
thought.
No.
See? Another thing I
It's
learned.
because whenever the sun is very, very active and the sun will shoot out
Right.
the solar flares.
Right.
And all through this year, the sun's been so active. It's getting to a point, it's going to be a few years, it's going to be lessened by, but it comes to a peak.
Yes.
And then it goes back down to a cycle because the sun has a cycle just like everything else would cycle.
yeah.
But right now, every time it shoots out
These flares.
these flares, that's what causes it,
Yeah.
right? Causes the northern lights. And so if you look on the internet, it'll always tell you when the peak is going to be.
Yeah.
And it's measured. They have a special measurement for it with a G in front of it.
Beautiful.
G5.
Do you have a favorite planet?
I have Saturn.
Saturn?
I'll tell you why Saturn. Okay, I'm glad you asked me that. That's funny that you asked because when I was looking in my refractor long time ago, and I always remember it was February and it was minus 26. So the sky was really crispy clear. Because let me tell you, when it's that cold, you can see stuff with the naked eye practically. So I can see that Saturn was there. And I thought, well, I want to be able to find it with my scope, because I could just see this Saturn looks in the sky a little bit off yellow and kind of like not quite round, okay, when you see it with the naked eye. With binoculars, you'll see it a little bit bigger, but it still looks the same. But when you put your refractor on it, which is what I have, which is specially made to view planets, I was trying to find it, and I was fumbling with it because it was minus 26. My hands were very cold. My eyepieces were all frosting up, and I was just like really cold. And I just got it in there myself, and without using, a go-to or anything, because I kind of try to find things. We call it star hopping. You know where it's supposed to be in the sky according to these constellations and these star maps and stuff. So you can find it. So it's so many hands or fingers or whatever from that other star. So I knew where it was, and I could see it because it was so clear. So then I put my refractor on, and then I looked in an eyepiece, and then all of a sudden I had hit it. So I wasn't then. All of a sudden it went in focus, and there it was, Saturn.
And
it was with the rings, and
mind.
it was when the rings were all being tilted towards us. It was a few years back. So it wasn't edge on. Right now, Saturn's
like
edge
a
on.
picture,
So
but
right
it's
now,
not
there's
a
just a
picture.
line through Saturn, right? That's what it looks like. But then it was edge on. So I saw all these rings. And it was so well defined. And I was so excited. I ran into the house and I woke up my husband because it was, it's like 2:00 in the morning. He dragged him out of bed. I says, come on, see Saturday. He's going, he looks in the eyepiece and he looks and goes, yeah, okay. Michelle, that's really tiny. And I don't need to see that again. But for me, it was amazing. But, but it was in my eyepiece. It wasn't that big because it wasn't a really big, magnification.
But it hit home.
But that was it. You know what it hit for me?
What?
I had a moment because I thought I'd always seen pictures of it.
Yes, it's
photos
different.
In a book. But when you see it and you realize it's really, really there, that was it for me. That was the moment.
That's what happened when you put my eye in the telescope at the event. I saw it, but something in my brain went, "Oh, it's not a picture.
Yeah.
This planet is there. It's always there. I just don't have the eyes to see it."
Exactly.
And and then it made so much sense on a spiritual level because I'm into all these yoga things that it's all tied to the planets and it's all, deep and so much wisdom in those things. And then you understand the metaphor. The metaphors are all there.
Well, it's been around a long time, right? I mean, man has been studying the stars for forever. And of course, without all of the light pollution, they had a much better view of certain things than we have.
And knowledge and wisdom.
And wisdom, definitely. And we've lost a lot of it too, like we're thinking we're newly discovering stuff and really we actually forgot a lot of what they knew.
I think that's the case with a lot of things.
But the Parade of Planets, somebody had asked me before. I just want to mention this because a lot of people, there's so much hype about it. And the previous Parade of Planets, if anybody caught it, and we were at the, it was June 24th, this past year, 2024. It was June, and we were at the Champlain Park, the one at the end
towards Mattawa.
Nope. No, not
Champlain Park in North Bay.
Yeah, the one on Lake Nipissing.
The one at the end of Premier Road.
At the end of Premier Road. We sit up there often because it's pretty dark there. It's a lot darker there than at the waterfront by the old boat where we set up too. But anyway, that one there had Jupiter, Mars, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn all lined up. And it was at the pre-dawn, though, so we had to be there pretty early. But some people and campers came out, and they were all in their pajamas and brought their families and were sitting with our club. So that was the previous one. But the most impressive one, I looked it up because I was trying to find out for sure, but it was June 2022 when all the planets were in the sky at the same time. So it says it does happen.
Yeah.
But it's to be able to capture them all together at the same time. It's quite neat. So yeah, they do line up.
Yes.
But not lined up the way that they have a true alignment would be. So that's not to be misinterpreted, but whatever. It's still a pretty big opportunity for people. So if we were hoping if the skies do clear within this month or next month, we're hoping that maybe we can set something up at the waterfront for people to come and view with us and share those experiences with us because that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. And there's something coming up. We have to end it off. I think you and I could talk for hours about this and just keep going. But we have an event coming up with Les Compagnons, le Carnaval.
There's
which is the celebration of French culture in our community. And you guys are doing something for that. What is it?
Well, I'm doing a presentation on the 29th, which happens to be of January 2025, here
at 176 Lakeshore.
The 176 Lakeshore. And if it's a clear night, which I'm hoping, because it's going to be new moon. A new moon means there's no moon.
Right.
So it's dark.
Yeah.
But we're in the city, so it might be light spill. But if it's a clear night, we're hoping to set up a few scopes as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing presentation on the winter constellations that we have and also the Parade of Planets.
That's so cool. And there's 13 constellations, not 12.
13 constellations.
Most people think, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Why? Yeah. Where'd the 13th come from?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but they've decided that I think they found it. I had some.
If I'm putting you on the spot, you just tell Richard. Why are you putting me on the spot?
I'm trying to remember exactly. It's Ophiuchus, and I know that a friend, one of the members of the club, he's born during that time. So it's November 30th, I think, to December something.
Okay.
So he's
in that window.
And that's what he said. He's in that one. Yeah, and it's called the Serpent Bearer is what that constellation is.
Beautiful. I cannot thank you enough for coming in, sharing a little bit of information about your club, getting us excited about the future. I know you guys have a lot of a history, and it sounds to me like the club is pretty healthy, but you're always inviting new members?
Always inviting new members. People can come out. You don't have to be a member to come out to our meetings at all, but membership does have its perks for sure. You can borrow our equipment, and borrow our time. We'll be out there lickety split, and we'll go to anybody's event, private events as well. So if there's a family event or like family reunion, and you think you'd like to have the club out there or something like that, we can be there lickety split. We go out there for the scouts. We go out for schools. We do our big thing is outreach. We love outreach. We do it. So much of them. Like I said, we did over 24 of them this year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, again, thanks for coming in, Michelle. It's really a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for inspiring me along the way. And I hope that North Bay and area learned something today and maybe come and check out a meeting. Because I think it's a lot of really nice people too in that club, isn't there?
We're really nice people. We're a lot of geeks.
Oh, geeks are the best.
Geeks are the best because there's no stupid questions either.
Yeah,
we love to answer curiosity. Yeah.
Curiosity is the key. Curiosity is the key. We're going to end it with that.
Thanks, Rich.
Adam, thanks for making it happen as always. Appreciate it. And subscribe, like, share. Tell us who you want to hear from on the show. Anything. Just give us some feedback. I'd love to hear it. We love you. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.